Welcome to beautiful Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and the Nautical Inn Resort for this, the 11th annual $50,000 Scat Track World Finals, part of the IJSBA, the International Jet Sports Boating Association. This 5-day event has attracted over 500 competitors from 17 different countries, and 35,000 people have come out to watch the best jet sports racing in the world. David Stanfield with two-time world champion Larry Rippenkroger. And Larry, let's talk about the international contingent. They are strong and they're ready to race.
Well, they are here. They are not on vacation this year. Probably for the first time in the history of the sport, we have a number of international riders that have a chance of winning either an individual title or quite possibly an overall world championship.
Let's start at the top, though. Our national champion, Victor Sheldon. Victor Sheldon had a great season. He would love to cap it off with a world title, but a couple of days ago, injury.
Victor Sheldon on his mountain bike about a little over a week ago, unfortunately was involved in an accident. He's got 15 stitches in his knee. Just a couple of days ago was the first time he was able to bend that knee. He's out here this weekend. He really wants to win, but the starts are going to be critical for Victor. He's having a real problem getting up into the tray of a ski on the start.
He is still in the title hunt after we've had slalom and pro modified race number 1. Pro modified race number 1 was a runaway for this man, Jeff Jacobs, who he had a disastrous year last year here and not a very good season.
It was a rough season for Jeff Jacobs. He comes in this weekend probably with more to prove than anybody else. He has been the most dominant rider in the sport. He's had some bad luck in the past year, but he comes out here this weekend to show that he is not over the hill yet by any means. He is out here to show that his dominance is going to continue for many years to come.
And he did that in pro modified race number 1. In fact, he's on the new 750 machine, and he lapped the entire field except 3 riders. Jeff Jacobs really dominated. He's going after the world title. Let's talk about the matchup, though, that the crowd seemed to favor. First and foremost, the defending world champion, Chris Fischetti.
Well, Fischetti in the qualifying rounds looked absolutely incredible. He was the only pro competitor to win both of his pro mod race qualifiers, including a heat with the likes of Jacob Sheldon and Nicholas Rios. After Fischetti's performance in qualifying, many put him as the man to beat, even above Jacobs. And a world championship repeat looked very much within reach.
For today's competition, the master of crowd appeal donned fish fins on both himself and his mascot, and then went out and won the pro slalom competition with his first of 2 passes through the slalom course.
A tremendous confidence booster for the fish. The slalom competition is 1/3 of the world championship, the other 2/3 being the 2 pro modified race, so it is a tremendous advantage to win the slalom event.
Euro champ Nicholas Rios took 2nd, and a respectable 3rd going to an injured Victor Sheldon, but it was pro modified race number 1 where things went bad for the fish.
After a first lap tangle with Rios, the fish pulled into the pits with boat problems, only to find that the spark plug cap had fallen off. They put the cap back on, finished the race, but his hopes to repeat as world champion are gone.
The big news, though, is Nicholas Rios out of Marseille, France, 18 years old, the 4-time European world champion. He was very fast early on, in fact, a 2nd place in slalom, but anticipation was building for pro modified race number 1. He is very talented.
He really is, and he's improved a great deal, and he is the talk of the town right now, the sensation from France, only 18 years old, not a lot of experience yet, but he has certainly got the speed. In qualifying yesterday, he looked absolutely phenomenal, decimated his competition, and it looked like it was going to be indeed a showdown between him and Chris Fischetti.
Disappointment happened, though. He had trouble at the start. In fact, he even missed a buoy.
Pro mod race number 1 was not kind to Rios. The same incident that knocked Fischetti's plug cap loose also knocked Rios to the wrong side of a right-hand buoy. Later, after Fischetti rejoined the race, they tangled again, and from there, things got personal. Even though Fischetti was a lap down, he wanted to let Rios know how he felt about the first lap incident.
But it was very entertaining for the 35,000 spectators on hand. Unfortunately, all of this removes these 2 highly favored competitors from contention for the World Championship.
But if anything, this will fuel the fire for these 2 to prove themselves in pro modified number 2.
So right now, the World Championship looks like it's going to be between Jeff Jacobs and Victor Sheldon, but there's going to be some bad feelings on the line. The start is critical.
It is, especially for Victor Sheldon, as we mentioned. That knee, if he can get up into the tray, get his timing down, it's going to come down to Victor Sheldon and Jeff Jacobs for the overall title.
Jacobs holds the lead of a single point over Sheldon. Basically, whoever finishes in front of the other in Pro Mod Race 2 will be the pro overall world champion. Beautiful conditions for racing. Now let's go to the 3rd member of our team, Todd Harris. Todd?
Thanks, you guys. I'm standing knee-deep in beautiful Lake Havasu racing water. And whoever dialed in the weather today, they did a great job. The 3 days preceding, we've had hail, high winds, flash floods, thunderstorms. But today, it is an absolute beautiful day. Blue skies, water temperature around 65 degrees, air temperature 88 degrees. All the champions are here. It's going to be a great day. The fans are going to get their money's worth. Back to you.
Thank you, Todd. For the racers, it's the moment of truth. For Jacobs, it's his chance to regain his world championship title. For Fischetti, it's his chance to prove that the crown is where it belongs, in his hands. Pro Modified Final coming up next. And Larry, as the racers ready themselves, let's take a look at the challenging course that IJSBA race director Glenn Bothwell has prepared for us.
The course this weekend is wide open and extremely fast. From the beach, the starting straightaway is a little unusual. It angles off to the right, enters into a left-hand first turn, sweeping with a decreasing radius, sweeping right-hand turn. Then we go into the tightest turn in the entire course, a hard left. I think that's going to be one of the key points of passing today. Down the front straight into the most difficult portion of the course. We have a log jump right after the turn, a double yellow right-hand turn into a double left red with another log jump in between those two buoys. The chicane section, and then back out into the long back straightaway, that traditional long Havasu full throttle back straightaway, back to the left-hand side of the course to complete lap number 1, and then continue on for a total of 15 laps.
Pro Modified race number 2 on the line for the World Championship. Chris Fischetti has pole position. Next to him is arch rival Nicholas Rios. The engines are fired up. They're ready to go. Dave McConnell, number 32 on the outside. Victor Sheldon is on the inside. And Victor with a great start. Victor now moves over and takes the whole shot. Nicholas Rios battling for second. Rios goes down and just about run over.
It looked like two people actually hit Rios.
Sheldon in the lead right now, and from the far outside, McConnell with a great start. He is in second, but look at the lead that Victor Sheldon has right now.
Victor Sheldon has got his starting timing figured out. He got right up into the tray, big hole shot, and Dave, the way he's riding, you never know that he has an injured knee.
It is Victor Sheldon, Dave McConnell, Chris Fischetti, Luciano Guimares from Brazil, Pointer, and Jacobs. Victor Sheldon with a good lead now, approaching the log jumps.
And look at Victor's style, doing the leg drags. His bad leg is still in tray. A great deal of pressure there. And look at Fischetti making a move for second.
Chris, the flying fish, Fischetti moves into second spot. Back to our leader. This is Victor Sheldon. We're going to put the radar gun on him down that back straightaway. Looking for a top speed of over 45 miles per hour. 48.5, he is moving.
Like we talked about, that long back straightaway, so famous here at Lake Havasu, and this is a fast course.
Let's take a look at the start one more time. Highlighted in the center is Victor Sheldon. Sheldon, with a poor qualifying position, probably has the better angle on that first turn.
Under normal circumstances, in the middle of the pack would not be a good starting position, but with the way the start angles off to the right, I think it actually worked to Victor's advantage today. Look at them as they go into the first turn. Rios just there to the inside. Has to dive in hard. He catches an edge and goes down. Victor could sweep it, went around the outside, and got all the momentum.
Rios down in the water. Gocher and Jacobs had to use him as a log jump. Now Rios is back in 9th place. The Brazilian is in 7th. Here are the top 5. Victor Sheldon, Chris Fischetti, Billy Pointer, Jeff Jacobs, and David McConnell, starting from the far outside, is in 5th. Jeff Jacobs right now is charging hard, trying to catch up with Billy Pointer. Billy Pointer, boat number 35.
And Jacobs on that 750 for the first time goes by Pointer. Dave Jacobs looks completely adjusted to this new 750. He is riding like a man possessed right now.
Jacobs down the back straightaway. His next victim. He's closing in on the world champion, the defending world champion. This is Chris Fischetti. And he makes it look real easy.
Listen to the crowd. Jacobs went by Fischetti like he was standing still. Looked like there was no effort involved at all. That is so incredible when you consider who he just passed.
Lap times, well, the last lap, Jeff Jacobs, 55.3. Victor Sheldon, 56.4. Jeff Jacobs is a second and a tenth faster than Sheldon. But Sheldon has a 7-second lead on Jeff Jacobs. Back to Havasu, Pro Modified race number 2. Victor Sheldon is still exactly where he needs to be to back up his national title with possibly his first World Pro Championship.
His lead is shrinking, however, as Jacobs is only 5 seconds behind and gaining about 1 second each lap. With 8 laps to go, things are going to get interesting.
Our leader, boat number 2, just misses a buoy. Victor Sheldon circles back.
Trying to get there before Jacobs as they hit. Oh, Victor and Jeff are down. Look at the battle there. Fischetti snuck by on the inside.
Victor Sheldon misses a buoy, circles back, T-bones Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs is now in 3rd, Victor Sheldon in 2nd, and Chris Fischetti sneaks by both of them. Fischetti's in the lead.
Incredible battle. Victor right now, at all costs, was just trying to stay in front of Jacobs. That is what he has to do. No matter where he finishes, he has to finish ahead of Jacobs to pull off the World Championship.
Now remember, he is riding with 15 stitches in his right knee. He wasn't walking 2 days ago. He's going to try anything to win the World Championship. Here are the problems, though.
Victor running into lap traffic, goes up over the buoy. That is considered a missed buoy. He has to circle back and pick it up. The key now is he wants to do it before Jacobs gets there. There's Jacobs. Victor just rams right into him. Here's another look. Look at this angle. Oh, the impact right into Jacobs' leg. He has got to be feeling some pain now, Dave.
And capitalizing on this incident, boat number 1 with the fin on his back, the Flying Fish, the defending world champion, sneaks by. He is in the lead. But here's the battle for the world championship. And Jacobs goes down in third. I think that leg has given him a little bit of problem now.
He's got to be having some muscle spasms the way he took a shot in the leg. That's over 300 pounds ramming into your leg. And Fischetti out in front, he says, you guys go ahead and slam into each other. I'm just going to sneak on by.
After 8 laps, here are the top 5. Fischetti, Sheldon, Jacobs, Pointer, and Schultz. Stay with us. Pro Modified Final continues right after this short break. Welcome back to the IJSBA Scat Track World Finals, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Our Pro Modified Finals, they're in progress right now. Leader is Chris Fischetti. Moving into 6th spot, the European superstar Nicholas Rios. Here's the top 5, though. We've got Fischetti, Sheldon, Jacobs, Pointer, and Schultz. Jacobs is the fastest man on the course. He's making his way through slower traffic, though.
Jacobs, not his usual smooth self, riding very aggressively now, trying to get by the lap riders.
Billy Pointer hanging tough for 4th spot right now. Pointer's really all by himself.
And he is, in fact. The leaders are on the far side of the course. And here is that battle now. Fischetti out in front, and Victor Sheldon making a charge.
Victor Sheldon trying to win this going away. He wants the world title. All he has to do is stay ahead of Jeff Jacobs. He's doing that, but he wants more. He wants by Chris Fischetti.
He had him here for a second, Dave, but Fischetti's fought back hard. The crowd is going wild right now. Fischetti's fans are on their feet.
Take a look, the top 3, Fischetti, Sheldon, and Jacobs are so close together now. 2 laps to go.
And the battle for the world championship is these two, Victor Sheldon and Jeff Jacobs. Whichever one finishes ahead of the other. Oh, Jacobs goes down. Victor has to do all he can to hold Jacobs off. If he does that, he is the new world champion.
And there goes Victor Sheldon. He is down.
And Jacobs goes by on the inside.
Jeff Jacobs now has control of the World Championship if he can just stay ahead of Victor Sheldon. Victor Sheldon in 3rd has that injured right leg, 15 stitches in it. Jeff Jacobs, who's riding, has a definitely injured right leg because Victor Sheldon smashed into him. And Chris Fischetti out in front's got a bruised right arm. These guys are riding ragged, and it's an endurance race.
It really is. We're late in the race. Fatigue is playing a big role here on top of the injuries. Here's that first bobble by Jacobs, but notice how quickly he recovers. He's back up in the tray, right back up on his feet, loses very little time. And now we're going to look at Victor. His bobble up over the log jump. Oh, and his right leg is still in the tray. He bends that knee. That has got to hurt. And Jacobs sneaks by on the inside. I think between the fatigue and the injuries, both of these riders are in a great deal of pain right now.
Back to the action. The white flag is coming out. Boat number 1 with a black background is the Flying Fish. Chris Fischetti, 24 years old. He leads this race. But the battle for the World Championship is between boat number 1, white background, Jeff Jacobs, and Victor Sheldon, who is in 3rd. There is Victor Sheldon. It is now or never for him.
It is do or die for Victor Sheldon. He has to pull out all the stops and do whatever it takes to get by Jeff Jacobs. It doesn't matter to Victor that Chris is out in front. Right now, all he's concerned with is the fact that Jeff is in front of him.
Over the log jump, and now approaching the chicane to the back straightaway. Sheldon to the right side of the screen on the 750, trying to overtake Jeff Jacobs. What a great battle. 35,000 fans on the beach screaming. And take a look at the speed Jeff Jacobs has down the back straightaway.
Jeff Jacobs has found the water. He got that thing hooked up down that back straightaway and was able to put some distance between himself and Victor Sheldon. But Sheldon has been looking good through this turning section over here.
Checker flag coming out. Winning the battle. Pro Modified race number 2. The Flying Fish, Chris Fischetti relieved. Jeff Jacobs wins the World Championship. Jacobs reclaims the title. And for our national champion, a disappointing day for Victor Sheldon. The thousands of fans and spectators really got their money's worth today. Chris Fischetti comes in first in Pro Modified race number 2, followed by Jeff Jacobs, Victor Sheldon, Bill Pointer, Jason Schultz, and coming in 6th, Nicholas Rios out of Europe. There's Jeff Jacobs, obviously in a lot of pain.